Welcome to City TV's presentation of the high school game of the week. It's the Lawndale Cardinals flying into Hellcat Field to play the Hawthorne Cougars in an Ocean League game, and what a game it is. And Rufus, Washington, lots of drama before tonight's game.
Oh, a whole lot of drama. I don't even know where to start. Let's give a couple of facts to people.
We need a soap opera organ.
Exactly. You know, Lawndale had to forfeit 4 games for an ineligible player. We talked to Coach Clark. We'll get into that in a moment. Not real happy about that. On the other side, Hawthorne has 6 players who've been ruled academically ineligible. They won't be suiting up tonight. And just a whole bunch of, and even over at Lusinger, who's not even here tonight, on Max Preps, they had installed another coach over there until we talked to one of our sources who confirmed that Coach Port is a source. Yes, so it's been a crazy week this week right here in the Hawthorne-Lawndale area.
So both of the coaches, Don Pasinger and Travis Clark, are just happy to get a couple hours out here on the field to get the game going, which they all love.
Oh, they absolutely are, because with all the distractions, ultimately, as they say, all we want to do is play football. They want to coach and they want their kids to play. In Lawndale's defense, in terms of their coach, he just feels like his kids have been robbed through some stuff that had nothing to do with the school, with the players, with the coaching staff. They're not happy about it because they had their best record on the way to a league championship, or certainly a share of it. Yeah. And, of course, Hawthorne still in the playoff hunt. And this game was shaping up as them having a shot at a share of the league championship. Now all of that's by the board, but it's still going to be a great game because this Lawndale team has something to play for, and Hawthorne is trying to prepare for its own playoff run.
That's right. The Hawthorne Cougars 3-1 in Ocean League. Now the Cardinals fall from 4-0 to 2-2. And it's a must-win game for the Cardinals tonight. Absolutely
must win. I mean, if they lose, the season's over. It's as simple as that. They know that. They understand that. And I think you can expect, if Coach Clark's emotion is any indicator, boy, they're coming out fired up tonight.
Tell you what, I'm fired up, and I got to tell you, those seniors over there wearing the black helmets tonight, they have to be fired up as well. And we're going to go to the kickoff right after this.
Hi, I'm Donnell Beverly from the University of Connecticut, home of the 2011 National Championship Yukon Huskies basketball team, and your Lusinger Olympians.
Beverly around the back, follow-away jumper, good, beautiful shot.
It wasn't too long ago that I was playing basketball right here.
I just want to thank him for having me here. I'm honored to play here.
And the Huskies are the top dog in 2011.
Winning the NCAA championship has always been a goal of mine, but so is getting a great education that will last me a lifetime. You can achieve your goals too. All you have to do is work hard and dream hard, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
Back here at Hellcat Field, along with Rufus Washington, I'm Lou Stowers, and just about ready to do the coin toss, Rufus. And why don't we go over the standings here first? And Culver City is in first place with Hawthorne at 3-1. Culver City with a 6-3 record overall, and Hawthorne 3-6. Now with Lawndale, with the self-imposed suspension, took 4 games away. Now they're 2-2 in league and 4-5 now overall. Followed by El Segundo at 2-2 at 7-2 overall. And how about that? They're 7-2 overall and in 4th place. Then you have Beverly Hills and Santa Monica. And Culver City plays Beverly Hills tonight, as we're just about ready to get the coin toss going. And
hate to say it, you can just about mark that down as a W for Culver City.
Right. They see buddies all around. Anderson Reseños, one of the linemen, and the kicker for Lawndale. And Lisala Tai, number 58. Also number 4, Jalen Morgan, and Benjamin Delgado, number 2, who is out for the season. and David Gonzalez, the other lineman for one of the other linemen for the Hawthorne Cougars. And Coach Pasinger was telling us that he's starting a center who's a freshman, Luis Lava.
Well, it's certainly not because that's what he wants to do, but it is a young man that, as he stated, has been his JV center all year, so he knows what he's doing. He's not a stranger out there, and that's who he has to go with tonight. We see it. We'll just tell you Frank Johnson is the referee, and we'll get the rest of that crew. He just made the coin toss, and so we're going to see how this all nets out in terms of who will take possession first. All right. Hey, and a good sign, Hawthorne won, and they have declined, or deferred is the better word.
So then Lawndale will get the ball to start things off, and Hawthorne will get it in the third quarter. And Hawthorne will be defending the north goal. And everybody's friends right now.
Right now.
And there's number 6,
That's the
Dewan
operative
Ballard.
term, right now.
Emmanuel Ayo also out there as some of the captains for Hawthorne, as David Gonzalez and Lisala Tai. So the Cardinals really have something to play for tonight. Hawthorne could afford a loss, but I'm sure they would like to play spoiler tonight as well, Rufus.
Sure, and by spoiler, let's be clear. Hawthorne wins, Lawndale season is over. All right? So, I mean, there's still a lot. You know, this game started out, Lou, what we had billed as the big showdown. It's a showdown, but not quite as big as it was, at least on one side of the coin, but it's going to be a great game nonetheless. And I mentioned the officiating crew, and I will run through them real quickly as we prepare for kickoff. A colleague of mine on the basketball side who's also an excellent basketball official and also works the NFL circuit as well. He's the referee, Frank Johnson. The umpire is Tom Citron. The head linesman is Ted Avorka. The back judge is Greg Fucci. And the line judge is Tim Plow. That's the crew that'll be working tonight's contest.
All right, it'll be Zach Cooper and B.J. Perkinson back deep to receive the ball for Lawndale. And kicking the ball off, a new kicker, Carlos Jacobo, because Eric Holmes is one of the ineligible, but Hunter Marquez was ineligible. And here we go. We're going to see Jacobo kick the ball off and pooch it. And
wow, that ball's
it's a live
live.
Ball, isn't it?
And if Hawthorne has it, boy, what a way to start, and they seem to indicate that they do.
Hawthorne ball.
So Hawthorne comes up with a trick play right out the box, Lou. On the pooch kick, you're right, it fell in that dead zone, if you will, where there was no coverage, and more importantly, the Lawndale players were just very slow to react to what was happening in front of them. Unlike a punt, a kickoff is a live ball.
Isaiah Rivera recovered it as Dewan Ballard and Amaro Bellew couldn't pick it up. So Hawthorne has a short field and a running play right off the bat. Right at about the 30-yard line is where we're going to start things off.
Right, they start from just outside the 30, and with the carry, they pick up about 2 to take it to just inside the carry. 30, I should say.
Marte Mapu is the quarterback. Janal Ray was the running back, and he gets it again, has a beautiful hole to run through, and a cloud of dust. That's more than 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That looks like it's going to be a first down inside the 20-yard line, or right at the 20-yard line.
Right. That's 8 yards in a cloud of dust, because that's what it was, 2nd down and 8, and they pick up the necessary yardage for the first down.
Looked like the tackle was made by Bellew. Mapu Also playing with that freshman center there, and a good blitz, but Mapu gets away, and now it makes a good run out of that, and finally tackled by Jalen Walker. But coming in, Eric Willis almost got the sack. So a 5-yard gain for Mapu as he was flushed out of the pocket. You see that right there. So down to the 15-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and 5. Hawthorne kicked the ball off, but it fell in between a couple of Cardinals on the pooch kick. They recovered it and have a nice drive going right now. Out of the shotgun, and good defense by Lawndale as Janal Ray was caught from behind, and in the backfield was Terrell Williams. So a loss of 1 on the play. Back to the 16, and watch Terrell Williams get in there and make a good play.
Make a good play there to stop him, and brings up a 3rd and long, as it's going to be. They're going to, hard to read the scoreboard, but from looking here, it's at least about a 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6.
Ray to the left of Mapu.
Wow, there's a lot of field there. Maple puts it up in the air. That's going to be out of bounds.
Out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
I thought Maple, well, his attempt to catch took him out of bounds, so they're going to bring it back. It's going to be a 4th and about 6 now, as the ball is down near the 19-yard line. Actually,
should be around the 16-yard line.
Around the 16, you're right.
So that would be about a 35-yard kick. So they're going to go for it on 4th and 6. Big play for the Cougars, and now a whistle.
And I see a Sebastian Cut Spencer sighting.
Is there a flag on the field?
There is.
Illegal motion, false start.
Illegal motion, false start. Whatever it is that's against the offense is going to back them up, and now it's going to make it a 4th and 11 that they'll be going for.
So back to the 21-yard line. So that would be almost a 40-yard field goal attempt now.
Well, I don't think you're going to see any attempt at a field goal. I think Coach Pasinger probably figures it's easier for me to pick up 11 yards than to make a 40-yard field goal.
Pass over to the flat, and that goes out of bounds. So the Cardinals get a turnover on downs. Mapu 0 for 2 in that. So the Cardinals will get their first attempt.
So Hawthorne rather unable to take advantage of a great turnover that they got at the Hawthorne 31-yard line, if you will. They could not convert it into points of any sort. And so now Lawndale gets to go on offense for the first time tonight.
Chris Murray will be under center and out of the power I. Let's see if they try to do some ball control. Zach Cooper gets the ball right away and gets busted out of bounds right away as well.
Good defense by the D-line that time. They strung the play out. Cooper trying to get to the edge. Got to the edge but couldn't get turned around, or turned upfield, I should say. As you see him there going east to west, and that doesn't help you. You got to go north to south.
Jalen Morgan there on the tackle. No gain. And that's what Coach Pasinger wants his defense to do, is stretch it out and force the Cardinals to run.
Yeah.
2 receivers to the near side for the Cardinals, Rufus. Zach Cooper again on the draw play and trips his way for a gain up near the 25-yard line.
And you got a flag thrown by the referee, which is going to be a personal foul. Roughing the passer is going to be against Hawthorne, and so that's going to give Lawndale a first down. Boy, Not a Phi Beta Kappa play. We'll see if we got that on the replay. Referee Frank Johnson right on top of it, because the play had gone the other way. I mean, there was nothing there, so that was an unnecessary hit, unnecessary contact. Here we're going to see the replay again. We'll see if we can see it. There you see Chris Murray dropping back. Bam, and that's what the official called. We don't see all of it in the frame, but we saw the beginnings of the contact, and the quarterback is 15 yards away from the play.
That was just a simple handoff on the draw play. So Murray hands it off to Cooper again, coming to the near side, and a nice tackle.
Wow, now you got more flags coming in.
As the ball is marked at about the 48-yard line. So we have a hold against Lawndale. So we're going to come back 10 yards the other way. So a net gain of 5.
Yeah. Try to see on the replay if we can pick it up. We're isoing on number 58. Goes out of our screen, but that's where we think it occurred. Called by the umpire.
Deshaun Jones.
So we go back to first down. So now it's a 1st and 15.
Back to the 36-yard line. Murray under center out of the eye. Zach Cooper again, and a good grab by the Cougars' interior lineman. Getting up off the bottom of the pile is Kristen Cooley. Good swim move right there. Actually, that was number 58. That was the Salatai. Did a nice little swim move from his right defensive end position.
All that's coaching.
Back to the 34-yard line, where it will be 3rd down and about 12. Aaron Kiefer is the fullback, but it's a play action. Murray underthrows his man. Pass intended for Kayam Cooksey.
And that's going to bring up a 3rd and long for Lawndale, which is the kind of situation, if you're this Hawthorne defense, that you want to see. But we talk about all the other drama that has surrounded this week and both programs. As Coach Pazinger said, you know, you can cast all that aside. It's still a rivalry game, and we'll come back to it in a moment. But I can tell you that Coach Clark of the Lawndale Cardinals is still highly upset about the events that happened at Lawndale.
Murray had a lot of time, and the pass is complete. 1st down for Perkinson inside of the 40-yard line. A big 3rd and 12, and a completion for Chris Murray. And now Chris Murray is shaking his right arm. So let's hope that everything's okay. And is it coming back?
Well, he clearly wasn't moving up the field as if though he thought it was, although I don't see a flag on the field.
Well, the chains haven't moved yet, and the Cardinals are huddling up back
now
around
we
the
see over on the
35-yard
far
line.
side, the referee indicating once again that it's a penalty against Lawndale.
Is that a hold? Well, now we know why Murray had so much time. Or was it? Couldn't really see what went on there. So it's 3rd down and 3.
Right, so you get, it's marked, it's a spot foul. So it's marked from the spot.
Quarterback draw. Murray trying to do it himself, and he gets the 1st down at the 45-yard line. That's good enough to get into Cougar territory and the 1st down.
Well, remember, we talked about this last week. One thing about this Lawndale backfield, Lou, is that it is a 3,000-yard backfield. You got Murray that's passed for over 1,200 yards. He's run for 1,043, and that was last week's stats. That doesn't even count before the game. That doesn't even count what he did during the game. And then you got Zach Cooper, who's also run for over 1,000 yards on the season. So that's a lot to contain for any defense, and that's why before they forfeited the 4 games, they were 8-1.
And quite a juggernaut, these Cardinals, as Zach Cooper waits for the hole to open, gets in the backfield, and really takes a smack on his way down. And a good gain for Cooper and the Cardinals. Should be good enough for a first down, as he was really whacked down by Carlos Jacobo.
But he bounces back up again, picked up 10 yards on the play. Let's look at the replay. Boy, he finds and reads the holes well.
So 11-yard gain for Cooper, and he is into positive yardage after 3 carries. Early on here, 7:40 left to go in the first quarter. Glad you joined us on City TV, a rivalry night in the Ocean League. Man in motion, Cooper gets the ball. Cooper gets a nice block from the receiver and breaks a tackle, and a huge gain again for Zach Cooper.
And I thought the right side of that line, or put it on your vantage point, we'll call it the left side, looking from the angle of Chris Murray, may have been offside, but no flag was thrown, so they got away with it.
So down around the 28-yard line. So an 8-yard gain for Cooper. Second down, and the ball goes down. Aaron Kiefer, and it looks like Hawthorne has it.
It sure does, and that's what the indication is. Hawthorne recovers the fumble.
The Salatai with the recovery. The handoff really never took hold to Aaron Kiefer and his first try. And I don't even know if Kiefer knew it was going to him. He was looking for somebody to block. The handoff might have been going to Perkinson.
May have been, and just when it looked like Lawndale was about to make its move, I mean, this drive was starting to really come together very nicely. A turnover. That's their second turnover of the game. So you had a fumble at the 7-minute mark at the 28, 29-yard line.
And that's where Mapu will start. And the Cardinal defense is really fired up now, Rufus. So no gain on the play. John Allray finding real estate tough. Out of the shotgun. Mapu throws complete to Jacopo. Nice move. Carlos with a first down across the 40-yard line up around the 43.
And he could have had more if he had just kept running. Tried to come back inside. Sometimes you just got to turn, look upfield, and go for it and run through your man. You'll see on the replay here. See if he got a shot. That's where he got in trouble trying to go inside. I think he had lots of real estate to the outside. They just challenged him there. But at any rate, it's a first down, and they moved the ball out from the 29-yard line out across the 40.
So it's about a 15-yard gain. Mapu going to Jacobo again. Turns and gets to the 50-yard line, just into Cardinal territory. And they say he's out of bounds at the 47.
And it's going to be just short of another first down. It's going to make it a second down and 1. And there's, in fact, less than a yard. And this is one of those plays that at every level, and now they say move the chain, so they picked up another first down.
Okay, so 10 yards on the play for Jacobo and Mapu. So they're moving the ball.
Moving it very efficiently. They put it back on the ground, and they stopped moving the ball.
That's right. Ray put down on the ground by Brandon Toure. Nice hit. Good tackle. So, going to call it a loss of 1. Back to the 48-yard line, 49-yard line. It'll be second down and a long 10. Mapu had the ball blocked as he passed it.
And that was knocked down, looks like, by Eric Willis. Called his name a couple times last week.
He can really wreak havoc. This whole defense so far. You got Deshaun Jones there with the long hair. There you see. Yep, that's Eric Willis getting up. Jump ball.
Right, Willis, one of the sack leaders in the Ocean League.
You have Willis over at left defensive end. Right defensive end is Emmanuel Ayo. Deshaun Jones, the right tackle. And Brandon Toure, the other inside man.
Wow. And that was Zach Cooper, who really put a big hit on the receiver for Hawthorne.
So is that a catch?
Well, we're going to see right here.
Looks like a catch.
The ball came loose. Well,
yes, it did. Right there, it did. Has to be. Yeah, that's an incompletion. So now it's 4th down and 11, and Jacobo should be coming on to punt the ball. Nobody back deep for the Cardinals.
And a pretty good kick. A very good kick. Now the question is, can they down it? And they do just inside at the 5-yard line.
So downing the ball is Devon Brown. So Carlos Jacobo pulling a rabbit out of the hat again.
So far, this game has been, even though it's scoreless here in the first quarter, it has been dominated, if you will, by Hawthorne.
Yeah, it really has.
Hawthorne coming in at 3-1 in league play, 3-6 overall. Lawndale coming in at 2-2 in league play and 4-5. But if we put it in its true perspective, Lawndale is a 4-0 team with the 8-1 record coming in, and don't think that the Hawthorne team doesn't know that and respect that.
Well,
they're not fooled by these numbers on a piece of paper in terms of what their record is showing itself to be.
Zach Cooper spinning his way to a first down and then some. And following his blocking Rufus over the left side. He really likes that left side. And gets all the way to the 20-yard line for a big 16-yard gain. So this is not your older brothers, Cougars, that's for sure. These kids are tough. They're Paysinger tough. Murray under center, out of the eye. Handoff again to Cooper. Looks fresh. Took a big hit, spun.
Wow. I thought he was farther up. Did the ball come
Maybe
loose?
The ball popped loose, Rufus. But coming up with it might have been Eric Willis.
Either it popped loose or, boy, that was a heck of a fake because that had
Zach Cooper is now on the sideline. See if we can find out what happened. Okay, looking at the replay. Cooper gets in the bottom left-hand corner. The ball came loose, but it was still a 4-yard gain. Now it's B.J. Perkinson's turn to carry the ball for a while as Zach Cooper saw him on the sideline. And he gets a 5-yard gain. Cooper still over on the sideline with his helmet off. Maybe we can get a report. Quarterback draw, Chris Murray should say, gets to the 50-yard line and puts down a Hawthorne defender. That was Marte Mapu, the other quarterback. So excuse me, Marte.
Right.
Whap. But it's a first down, and that is at the 43-yard line.
I know it's your house, but right now it's my ball.
Big 19-yard gain for big Chris Murray. .330 left to go in the first quarter. No score.
This drive started at the 5-yard line, so once again, the Lawndale Cardinals, boy, on the move.
Has a man open, caught! And yes, it was caught.
It was caught, went down the 15-yard line on the reception for Lawndale. That was Amari Bellew.
It was just waiting to see if he was going to hang on to it or not, Rufus. Down to the 15-yard line in Hawthorne territory. So 40 yards. First completion for Murray. So it's a running play. And Perkinson with the ball, as Cooper has not come back yet, inside the 10-yard line. So 5 yards on the play.
And well, again, now that they're in the red zone, like the 2nd and 5 now after that pickup. I was about to say, Lou, maybe we can get a message through one of our camera guys to ask either Sebastian or Karen Bright to find out, when you notice that a star player is not in the game and hasn't been the last several plays, that tells me there's a story somewhere in the making there. As we're going to have
It's going to be an offside against Hawthorne as Chris Murray got them to move. Center for Chris is Anderson Racinios. So that should
and that's a half
be a first
penalty. Well, it was still 2nd down, and let's see how
it should be close to the first down mark. They're going to give it the full 5, so that's going to be a first down and goal. From the 5-yard line. Ball is given to Perkinson, wide open, trots into the end zone, touchdown Lawndale. Going to call it a 4-yard gain.
So it took him a while to get it done, but there you see Perkinson with the carry. Bryant Perkinson, one of the captains on this team, at the 2:07 mark of the first quarter, carries it in 4-6.
Anderson Racinios coming on to tack on the extra point. So that was a 96-yard drive, Rufus. So the Cardinals have been impressive. That's 94. Last week they had a 99 and a 96. Check that. And the extra point is good, so it's 7-0 in favor of Lawndale. They had a 99, a 94, and then a 96-yard drive tonight.
Yep. And we're joined in the booth by the illustrious Karen Bright. All righty.
Can you go check on Zach Cooper to see if he's injured? No, Lawndale. Zach Cooper, number 3. Okay, yeah, we're live on the air here, so we're on the air, so okay. So there's a freshman kicker Then we remember Travis Clark said, oh, he's not going to get in the game.
Right.
Guess who's kicking off? Number 31, the freshman that we were told wasn't going to get in the game. So is Karen still up here?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Maybe somebody can find out number 31's name for us, as the kick is high and lands at about the 15-yard line, and still getting out of a tackle and running up the near sideline and gets out of bounds for a good return is Jalen Morgan.
So Morgan will give them good field position, no flags on the field. That's always the adventure on kickoffs and kick returns, that you got the ever-present block in the back and so forth, but not this time. So with that, great field position for Hawthorne out at about the 34-yard line.
Okay, so it'll be 1st and 10 with 1:59 left to go in the first quarter. So the Cardinals strike first. Out of the shotgun is Mapu. Throws it on the flat to Jacobo, and that one's worked all 3 times, but now the Cardinals are swarming on Jacobo now.
Right, and now Zach Cooper's back on the field. We see him play in defense. Of course, Zach Cooper wears jersey number 3 for Lawndale, and in a moment you'll see him in the shot. So obviously if he's out playing defense, then that's a good sign for the Lawndale faithful, as their crowd a little bit late. I mean, they're kind of like a Dodger crowd. They're just getting here. I mean, because I kept looking over there, I'm like, well, okay, it's a crosstown game.
There's a lot of traffic on Inglewood.
Well, yeah, they go to 1 mile. I mean, they could have walked the 1 mile.
Probably could have done it quicker, and another completion along the far side. B.J. Perkinson making the tackle and making the reception for the Cougars is Justice Powers. So a 7 yards, call it a 6-yard gain. And that's into Cardinal territory at the 48-yard line. Out of the shotgun. Ray just can't get anywhere tonight, Rufus. The Cardinal running defense is doing very well tonight. Brandon Toure and Rudy Sariano.
In fact, they're going to give him virtually no gain on the play. And we saw John L. Ray earlier in the season have a big game for this Hawthorne team. So we know how important he is to their attack, and the fact that right now this Lawndale defense seems to have him bottled up. But he's one of those explosive type players, Lou, that can break loose at any moment.
Actually, that was a loss of 3, Rufus, so it's 3rd down and 6. Mapu hangs on to the ball. Now it's thrown, and a completed pass. That looked like a busted play, and it's a good thing that Justice Powers bailed him out back into Cardinal territory.
Well, it certainly looked busted. I mean, it looked like a delayed play. You wasn't quite sure what was happening, but at any rate, it's enough for the first down. As the first quarter will wind down, I don't know if they'll get another snap off, and now 15 seconds left on it. I'm sure considerably more on the play clock, so they're going to be content to let the clock run out and pick it up in the second quarter.
And they do get it off.
Wow,
John L. Ray with a gain of about maybe a yard, depending on where they spot the ball. Right at the 40-yard line, so not quite a yard, but we'll give him a yard. As the quarter comes to an end.
So
it'll be 2nd and 9, 2nd and a long 9 for Hawthorne.
And a bit of discussion with Coach Pasinger and a couple of members of the officiating crew. I think he's saying that, in fact, I don't know what he's saying, but I'm sure it's some discussion about whether or not the quarter should have expired and that play not have been run. My guess is that it has something to do with that, because I quite frankly thought that Hawthorne was going to be content to let the quarter run out, but instead they stepped up to the line and attempted to get a playoff. And maybe Coach Pazinger's point is that they were indicating that we were deep in the play clock, which is why we went ahead and ran it. Not quite sure, but he didn't like how that turned out. But nonetheless, after one quarter, a very entertaining first quarter, Lawndale finally got untracked, and so they got on the board first, and they lead 7-0.
B.J. Perkinson with a 4-yard run. And again, Zach Cooper doing the bulk of the running, Rufus, and already has 6 carries tonight. So we'll see how Zach Cooper and the Cardinal running attack will work tonight.
And so let's give this as his first down. Maypew rolls out to his left, looks up the field, has a receiver, overthrows him though.
And that's Carlos Jacobo, and he's the receiver on that left side.
Was there anybody else he's going to throw? It looks like every pass. And, of course, Jacobo has made a couple of big catches. But it doesn't take long for your opponent to kind of wise up. They're only looking in one direction. I think you got to mix it up and get a couple of other folks in the pass pattern if that's what you're going to do.
At least it was a go route, not a slant. So at least they changed that up.
Right.
So Jacobo splits wide to the left again. No receivers. Tight end on the right side. Maypew throws it again towards Jacobo, and it was floated up there and almost picked off by B.J. Perkinson.
Yeah, that one hung up a little bit too long, and they're fortunate to get that one back.
So now the 40-yard line, so it's 4th and 9. So that was just a go route. And Maypew underthrew it because Jacobo was open inside the 25.
And once again, this is territory. I believe that Hawthorne doesn't have much choice. Let's see if they come out and punt. They've pulled a couple of plays out of the trick bag tonight, so they're falling back in punt formation.
And Carlos Jacobo is there. One of the up-blocking men is Marte Maypew. He probably calls the signal as Jacobo with a nice kick again, no one back, and this one goes into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback and 1st and 10 for the Cardinals at their own 20.
And this possession now for both teams becomes very critical. If you're Hawthorne, once again, your defense is going to be asked to step up and get the ball back for you. If you're Lawndale, you're looking now to assert yourself and show yourself to be the 8-1 overall team that you felt like you really are coming into this game, 4-0 in league play that you felt like you are. Of course, that's not the reality. The reality is that due to the 4 games they had to forfeit, you're 2-2 in league play and 4-5 overall.
Chris Murray under center out of the eye. Kiefer, the fullback. Cooper is the halfback. He gets the ball, trying to go around and can't get around the corner, but still with good yardage, Rufus. And good blocking up front on the right side.
And the guy to always zero in on whenever he's out on the field is Kiefer, the fullback, who opens the hole up for Zach Cooper to come through. And again, as we talked about last week against El Segundo, he just did an outstanding job of doing just that.
Sure did. Splitting out to the near side is DeJuan Ballard for Chris Murray. Out of the eye again. Man in motion. Cooper sliding to the right and into the open field and finally gets tackled down by Denzel Nebard, but not after a first down run for Zach Cooper. Boy, is he fast.
And what you'll see at the end of this play is that Zach Cooper doesn't go away. And this is what I was talking about earlier. If we see the shot, doesn't go away from the contact, but instead takes it head on for the additional yardage. And sometimes that's what you've got to do. That's where you pick up the extra yardage instead of starting to dance around and look for holes, man. You just got to bust. You got to blast through a guy sometimes.
So an 18-yard gain for Zach. Here comes the blitz. Zach now finding room again, almost had another big gain if it wasn't for a good tackle by Janal Ray.
And that was indeed a good tackle. In fact, that had the opportunity to be a long gain, except Janal Ray was right there, Johnny on the spot when this defense needed him to bring Zach Cooper down after a gain of about 6 on the play.
So the second down and 6, so maybe we can get Karen to give us a report down along the sideline. And now the running back is Jalen Walker. Walker getting down the sideline, deep inside of Hawthorne territory, inside the 30-yard line. Down to the 29. So Jalen with a 21-yard gain.
And again, we've talked about it several times. That's the kind of pressure that the Lawndale Cardinals can put on a defense. They have so many weapons, so many different directions that they can go in. And that time, they call on Jalen Walker, and he comes through with the big play.
Counting down to 9:20 left to go in the first half. Man in motion for the Cardinals. Ball is handed off to Walker again, going up right tackle and still on his feet, spinning, and finally getting inside the 15-yard line to the 14. Another big gainer for Jalen, a 15-yard gain.
Another big gain, another first down, but what the key to that play was Kiefer. Man, if we saw it from a different angle, you would see Kiefer going straight through the hole in front of him. And quite frankly, all Walker had to do was come right in behind his big fullback who was leading the way.
Angel Becerra might have got away with a little hook 'em and hold 'em, but that's okay. We won't tell anybody. Oh, we didn't say a happy senior night to the Cougars. Proud to do 3 senior nights for all 3 of our teams. Is now Zach Cooper just goes right up the middle into the end zone. Touchdown, Lawndale.
16-yard touchdown run, actually 15 from where they spotted at. 15-yard touchdown run for Zach Cooper here in the second quarter.
8:42 the time. And there's Aaron Kiefer again helping open the hole, along with number 77, Stephen Almada. Anderson Briseños coming on.
That one doesn't get above the heads of the defensive line.
That looked like one of my golf shots. Lots of dirt. Where'd the ball go? Not where it was supposed to. But it's still 13-0. Cardinals over Hawthorne here at Hellcat Field.
And right now, what the Cardinals are doing, I mean, you're just wearing down the Lawndale Cardinals. I mean, the Hawthorne Cougars.
One of those two.
Right. The Lawndale Cardinals. The Cardinals are wearing down the Cougars. And remember, now this is where all the other things that we talked about in the pregame show come into effect. All right. So I tell you what, I'll come back to that in a moment. Let's go down to Karen Bright.
I had a chance to go to the Lawndale sideline and talk to the coaching staff, and they told me that there is no injury to Zach Cooper. As we can see by that touchdown, he's okay, and he's back in the game. Back to you.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. We just got concerned after that one hit and possible fumble.
Right.
And then he comes up and makes a defensive play. Now comes out and just scores a touchdown. So I wonder if he's got a red S underneath that Cardinal jersey.
Exactly. And at the point at which we were concerned, he actually was out for the balance of that series of downs before he came back in on the next series. Ball goes out of bounds, so they'll back them up 5 yards and re-kick it.
Either that or just put it in play. Well, let's see what Coach Pasinger wants to do. Need a ball first.
Right.
So illegal procedure against Lawndale. First down. They're going to call it from the 35.
Okay, well, that's a little bit different than what the Crew did last week, but we'll go with it. Okay.
I've seen it done both ways this year, Rufus. So is it an automatic or is it coach's decision?
I can only guess that it's coach's decision, but we'll ask one of our officiating colleagues. Okay. Wow, they're saying that was a lateral.
Yes.
Whoa, and Coach Pasinger is not going to agree with that. He's going to say that was a pass, and the officiating crew will be asked to look at it.
Well, I don't know if they can look at it. It's the first down Lawndale.
Wow.
There's no way for them to look at it.
There's no way for them to look at it, but what you can have is other officials come in who may have had a different angle on the play to make the call.
Okay, let's
So
watch
we're
it
gonna
here.
see it here. Yeah, that's a backwards pass. That's an excellent call by the officiating crew.
Terrell Williams with the recovery. And it was a smart play by Terrell because usually some people will just let it go.
Right. This recovery is at the 30-yard line. Wow.
Zach Cooper and a cloud of dust. Did they call it the 35? So timeout on the field with 8:33 left to go, called by Hawthorne. And there you see Zach Cooper getting wrangled up and put down.
So that turnover will go as a lateral fumble against Hawthorne, and that gives the ball back to him. I think we probably ought to have got our camera person in there. Right now, there's a lot of emotion down on the field on both sides, and right now we're hearing some of that emotion coming from the Hawthorne side. So once again, while we're taking a moment here in the timeout, let's just talk again, because we can't talk enough about the playoff implications of all of these games. We'll go away from the field for a moment to a game that's over in Compton. Lusinger playing Compton Centennial. They're playing for a playoff spot. If they win in that game, they've got a very good chance. And I think going in, Lusinger at 4-5 probably would be considered the favorite against Centennial, which comes in at 1-8.
And they've been one of those sneaky teams, too, that can come up and bite you, Rufus. Chris Murray on the quarterback draw, delayed, and now has a huge hole and is going for the end zone untouched. Touchdown Cardinals. That was another weird play.
I think they're going to say he stepped out at the 1-yard line.
Really? He had nothing but open field. Or are they bringing it back?
Holding against Lawndale, so it all goes for naught.
Okay.
Okay. There you are.
Yeah, right there. Carlos Jacobo is being held. Don't see who he was holding, but yeah, he went into the end zone. Chris Murray. So they give him a first down at the 20. But a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. So Murray back to pass, lone man in the backfield. Gets chased down. Still on And now it goes out of bounds. Smart play by Murray not to just throw it into traffic. Let's go down to Karen.
Lou Rufus, Coach Pasinger seemed very calm in that timeout. He told his team, we've talked about this before, and when a play happens that's bad, we need to leave it behind and look forward if we want this game to be turned around. He was just reminding his team of that message, and hopefully they can take it out on the field with them. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Karen. As he was pretty animated talking to the officials. Probably wanted to calm himself down as much as his players. So it'll be 2nd down and 12. So 2-yard loss. Draw play. Zach Cooper trying to find some room.
Another block in the back.
There's
That
a bad
one's
block.
easy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that was number 2. I think Jalen Walker, who's walking away with his hands thrown in disgust on the illegal block. We now know what that mechanic means because even we saw that one.
Yep, from way up here. I do want to thank the Hawthorne staff for cleaning the window up here at Hellcat press box. Yep, there it is. Okay, so another 10-yard penalty. That's 3 for 30. And this one goes back to the 32-yard line.
And it's still only a 2nd down. The ball's at the 32, and they've got to get down to the 10 to pick up the 1st down. So it's a 2nd and 22.
From the 32, out of the eye, and now a timeout on the field taken by Lawndale with 8:05.
And I think that was one of those timeouts. As it was looking across the field, looked like they were trying to get somebody off the field. And rather than incur yet another penalty, it's already 2nd and 22. They burned one of their timeouts. So that's one timeout each here in the first half.
So lots of running by Lawndale and lots of throwing by Hawthorne so far. As Mapu is 5 out of 11. Murray is 1 out of 3.
And also, let's talk about the fact that one of the guys that's out for Hawthorne is Troy Oliver, number 44. Not to single Troy out. I mean, heck, we'll go through all of them for you because it's a matter of fact right now. But he was one of their key defensive guys. We saw him take a huge hit when we last saw this Hawthorne team over here at Hellcat Field, and was glad to hear he came back well. Coach P said he had a great game after he got back, made 11 tackles, but right now tonight he's not on the field due to academic ineligibility.
Chris Murray better put that ball away, but yeah, he does, into the end zone. Touchdown, Lawndale, or is it?
Should be. Well,
looks like he kicked the pylon on his way in.
And now they indicate touchdown.
Signal.
32-yard touchdown run. Chris Murray.
So all touchdowns have been on the ground. Let's watch Chris carrying that loaf of bread. There he gives the ball a drink. Nope. That does a little Dion into the end zone. The boy chasing him out of the pocket was Andrew Kalowinski. As Racinios coming on to tack on the extra point. And that one was wide left. So it's 19-0. Two misses for Racinios. I don't think we've seen that all year.
I don't think we have. And of course, that play, that score set up, according to my records, by the Hawthorne. In fact, I know it was by the Hawthorne lateral fumble, right?
Right. So it was a 35-yard drive. 5 plays. that took just under a minute, about 40 seconds.
Here's what's key right now, Lou, is that if you are Hawthorne, you must respond on this drive, okay? You cannot afford to go down any further without having an answer for this Lawndale attack that is now starting to get untracked.
They sure are, Rufus. So it's up to the 25-yard line on the return by Isai Rivera. $7:51 left to go in the half.
And all of Lawndale's scoring has been on the ground, courtesy of 3 runs. A 4-yard run by Perkinson late in the first quarter. And then in this quarter, you had a 15-yard run by Cooper. And now the last score, a 32-yard run by Chris Murray.
And John L. Ray just can't get anything going in running, Rufus. This is another loss. And Rudy Sariano with the tackle.
And as this game continues to unfold, again, playoff seedings at stake, Lawndale coming in knowing that they were in a must-win situation. In order just to earn a playoff spot. A week ago, we were talking about they were going to come into tonight's game in a situation where they could win the outright championship. Now they're fighting for their playoff life.
Jacobo with the catch and a first down.
Yep.
So Carlos Jacobo doing a great job there up to the 35-yard line. It was 2nd and 16.
And what did he do that was different, as we see on the replay, Luke? He caught the ball and turned upfield. Made one move there to spring himself, but then everything else is about going up the field.
So 16 yards and a first down. And Hawthorne on the move. That's been the big weapon so far, Mapu to Jacobo. Mapu looking that way again.
He throws it at his feet, the feet of his intended receiver. Actually, his receiver had room to make the catch over on the far sideline.
As Jalen Morgan was over there.
But Mapu just didn't put it in a place where he could catch it.
It was the 13th pass attempt. So it'll be 2nd and 10 at the 36. Mapu, lone man in the backfield. 5 receivers in the pattern, Rufus. Trips to the near side. Ball is caught at about the 41. Let's see where they give him progress to. Ball was caught by Morgan.
And they're going to mark it where he came back on the curl. So he lost about a yard after having made the catch.
So it was a 4-yard gain up to the 40-yard line. So it's a big 3rd and 6 for Hawthorne with 6:09 left to go in the half. 3 receivers to the far side and a timing pattern down the right side, the far sideline. It was almost picked off as Jacobo was the intended receiver.
A lot of air under that ball that hung up long enough for the Lawndale defender trying to see what his number is to get under it and actually able to make a better play. Looks
That's
a
BJ
little bit
Perkinson.
shaken up. I think that's one of those where the ball knocked the wind out of him a little bit. He's trying to gather himself out on the field.
So now we have a punt receiver and Zach Cooper. And this is off of the shin, but Cooper fields it on a bounce like a second baseman. And now another bad block, so this one's going to come back. Cooper is going to go deep inside of Hawthorne territory, but there's a penalty flag all the way back at the 36-yard line of
Right.
Lawndale.
So all that's coming back. But a good effort nonetheless by Zach Cooper. As we've said, this game being played under a shroud of controversy on both sides. Once again, Lawndale affected by the loss of the forfeit rather, of 4 games due to an ineligible player. Boy, there's a whole backstory to that. An alleged ineligible player.
I think this is still going to play out, Rufus. I don't know. I just got a feeling.
Well,
because it was self-imposed and it wasn't under any investigation by the CIF.
Well, it's got to play out real quickly because the seedings are going to come out on Sunday.
Right. And I'm sure that they're going to let it stand. So this one goes back to the 25, Rufus. Sorry. But go ahead.
No worries. I mean, that's the whole point. The playoff seedings for the entire CIF Southern section across all 13 divisions will be released on Sunday. And if you want to know where your favorite team is going or not going, check the CIF-SS.org website.
The solid tie with a nice tackle, or Murray would have been off to the races. Gets to the 31. So a 6-yard gain. The solid tie, a senior, 6'7", 290 pounds. Wonder where he's going to be playing on Saturday.
Somewhere.
Murray going to do the draw play again, gets away from a tackler and hurdles another one and goes out of bounds. Couldn't keep up. Jeffrey Ray couldn't keep up with him, Rufus, as those long strides. Picks up a first down for Chris Murray, and that is at about the 42. So an 11-yard gain for Murray and the Cardinals. Got the first down and said, okay.
That's enough.
4:56 left to go in the half. And that pistol formation again. Now they shift back. Ball is caught over on the right flat by B.J. Perkinson, and he was hit immediately by Marte Mapu.
Short gain on the plate, boy. It takes on the appearance of a screen of sorts, whether it's intentional or not. But again, Murray standing tall in the pocket completes the pass for a short gain.
Close to 5 yards for Perkinson, so it'll be second down and a long 5. We'll call it 6. In the pistol with Kiefer.
Another fumble.
That was a fumbled snap, and Kiefer recovers it. Playing the fullback there, Rufus, is number 52, Terrell Williams. But Kiefer saves Lawndale's bacon. So a loss on the play of 2 yards. Back to the 45.
Now, one of the strategies that Coach Pasinger shared with us as they look to attack this Lawndale offense was that they'd much rather make Murray throw than have him run the ball. And, well, he made him throw there and picks up a first down.
That's right. Good open field tackle by the Cougars. And that was made by Denzel Nemhard.
Wow, they're going to say that's 4th and short.
Yep, so that was we'll call it a 6-yard gain.
Might see Lawndale take a timeout here. on a 4th and short play. Looks like they're going to let it run. Now we get the indication. Let's see. Hawthorne takes the timeout.
With 2:49 left to go in the first half.
Well, either way, you figured that there was going to be a timeout taken. I quite frankly thought that Lawndale would take it to set their own play on a 4th and short because, they've got the most at stake here in terms of this particular play. They don't pick it up. It goes the Hawthorne gets to take it over on downs. But Coach Pasinger conversely felt, you know what? I want to make sure my guys, we're deep in the quarter. No use carrying these timeouts in the halftime. Let me make sure that they know what we want to do defensively. And this is always at this level, Lou, where the one thing that you find both teams most susceptible to are procedure penalties. Either an offsides against the defense and obviously that's what they're going to try to do first. I think they're going to try to draw Lawndale off. They'll run a play, but they're going to go deep into the play count and hope that Lawndale give them a cheap Hawthorne. And Hawthorne, by the same token, staying on their toes, they expect to be ready. Let's see how it unfolds.
Destin Hall is split down below us. Under center is Murray. Maybe he's going to do it himself. Tried to get Hawthorne to go offside to get the penalty, but Hawthorne had good discipline on the line. So a timeout Lawndale. That's their second.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. So now both teams have taken a look at what the other was going to do. But as you say, excellent discipline shown by the Hawthorne defensive line that time, that they didn't bite on the snap, on the hard snap count by Lawndale. And so now we get a chance to see what they're really going to do.
So Coach Pasinger calls all hands on deck on the defense. As now we see Jalen Walker for the Cardinals coming on with Amiro Cano. And Chris Murray going under center. As Isaiah Lucas getting ready to snap him the ball. Jalen Walker, the halfback. Aaron Kiefer, the fullback for Lawndale. Cougars showing blitz. Here comes Murray, and he gets into the defensive backfield, and a possible touchdown saving tackle by Hawthorne's Denzel Nemhard. But it's a first down, Lawndale. Good blocking up front.
And I think you're right, Lou. Nemhard definitely made a touchdown saving tackle for the Hawthorne Cougars.
So a 9-yard gain and a first down. So now it hands the ball off. Is that Jalen Walker going for about 10 yards?
Picks up nearly 10. It'll be just a little bit short. It'll be second down and short. And again, this is one of those situations that's always a favorite because you've got a number of options here. And I think on this drive, among other things, Lawndale also looking to really put this Cougar team away. So this Cougar team right now is going to be challenged to see, with a minute 55 clock running, if they can keep Lawndale out of the end zone and keep this game respectable going into the locker room at halftime.
Handoff goes to Cooper. Cooper bounces outside and is wrangled down by Carlos Jacobo inside the 30-yard line, and all that for about 3 yards.
Well, again, every play such a big play. And you got to give Carlos Jacobo a lot of credit for being in the right place at the right time on that particular play. If you're a Hawthorne Cougar fan, which most of the assembled crowd here tonight is.
Good crowd across the way. The Lawndale fans showing up. Chris Murray under center. Walker and Kiefer. Oh, the ball is fumbled off the snap, and I believe Murray came up with it. Took a lick from David Gonzalez. Both going for the ball.
Now here's the deal. Clock continues to run. Each team has one timeout remaining. I don't think that you'll see Hawthorne stop the clock, and it's going to be a matter of whether Coach Travis clock. He's still got about 50 seconds left, whether or not after this play they'll call a timeout, try to run one more scoring opportunity.
John L. Ray almost came up with that, but now Zach Cooper has it. Cooper trying to turn the corner and gets out of bounds just inside of the 5-yard line. So 36.2 seconds left. A first down for Lawndale at about call it the 4-yard line?
Call it the 4-yard line, man. Actually, I think you even call it the 3.
Okay.
For where it is. Now the clock's going to start. I guess the clock after the first down will start on the snap.
So first and goal, a 25-yard run for Zach Cooper. And
you got some.
Is there some discussion about the time, or?
No, it's not about the time. It's nothing to do with the clock, because otherwise they'd be looking in this direction. Apparently, potentially some fan interference, or fan in the wrong place or something. But whatever it was on the sideline and down in the end zone, which involves a fan area and not a player or coaching area. So at any rate, they got it straightened out, and there's 36.2 seconds left with Lawndale at the 3-yard line of Hawthorne.
Cooper and Kiefer. Cooper gets it, going over Kiefer, and gets slammed into the end zone. Touchdown, Lawndale, and Jeffrey Ray rode Zach Cooper into the end zone. So touchdown number 2 for Zach Cooper.
And that comes with 31 seconds left, and boy, there was a big run that set that up.
A 32-yard run, I believe, by Chris Murray. And then a 25-yard run by Cooper.
And remember, this drive started at the 5:10 mark, back at their own 25-yard line. So a 75-yard drive.
And the extra point, was that good or no good?
Apparently, if we judge
not.
by the scoreboard, no good. So
again, that's count, 3 in a row.
Yep.
That Racinios has missed. So it's 25-0 in favor of Lawndale. Cooper with a 3-yard run. And he is being dominating again, Rufus. So a 75-yard drive. Ten plays. That took 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So running along the sideline, far sideline, and
flag comes in.
A good run back, though, by Hawthorne. I believe that was John L. Ray that made the run back with 24.3 seconds left in the half.
And indication is that it's an illegal block against Hawthorne. We got 24.3 seconds left. They're going to mark it off from the spot, which was just outside the 20. It's going to take it down to just inside the 10. They'll probably put it on the 10-yard line.
Got enough time for 2, maybe 3 plays.
No, I don't think if you're Hawthorne, I think you take a knee and you get out of here and you get to the locker room and worry about it. Anything you do puts the ball at risk. They decide to. Okay, they're going to run here.
John L. Ray not getting any success again as Eric Willis
and the clock's
wraps
not
him up.
running.
Okay. So the ball goes back. They're marking it at the 9-yard line. What was the...
Well, I mean, that's where his progress was stopped.
Right.
And basically the clock's going to run out to end the half. Boy, a tough half for the Hawthorne Cougars here on senior night at Hellcat Field. And right now it's not real memorable as Lawndale has come from 1.5 miles away over here and in a must-win situation for them. They've got a commanding 25-0 lead, Lou.
All right, and we'll come back with the third quarter action and the unofficial stats right after this.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Back at Hellcat Field on the campus of Hawthorne High School, where the Cougars are hosting the Lawndale Cardinals on senior night, and we'll go over some of the stats. But first, let's go down to the field and Sebastian.
Got a chance to talk to Coach Paysinger coming out of the locker room, and I asked him what was his message to his team about that first half, and he just told me these guys got to start playing for each other, and they have to start playing smart. He said, leave all the negativity in the locker room with your teammates. He said, I know we can compete with these guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Sebastian. And it is a win or go home for the Cardinals tonight. And let's go over some of the stats for the Hawthorne Cougars. Janal Ray, 9 carries for -5 yards. Martin Mapu, 1 carry for 5 yards as we look at Esai Rivera. And in the passing department, Mapu is 7 out of 15 for 78 yards. Carlos Jacobo has 4 catches for 55 yards. Powers with 2 catches for 16 yards. A fumble recovery for number 58, the Salatai, and also 1 lost fumble. For the visiting Cardinals in the rushing department, are you sitting down? Zach Cooper, with the 14 carries and 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, as we're watching Isaiah Webb. B.J. Perkinson, 3 carries and 14 yards and a touchdown. Chris Murray, 6 carries, 83 yards and a touchdown. And Jalen Walker with 3 carries for 45 yards. In the passing department, Murray 3 out of 5 for 51 yards. So he has accumulated 134 yards in total offense, Rufus, and that's in the first half. Bellew,
another day at the office.
That's right. Bellew with 1 catch for 40 yards. B.J. Perkinson 2 catches for 11 yards. And the Cardinals accumulated 4 penalties for 40 yards, lost a fumble, and recovered a fumble by Terrell Williams. And we're just about ready to get things underway. All of our halftime hits are done. And it will be Lawndale kicking off to Hawthorne. To the near side is Rivera, and deep into the far side is Jalen Morgan.
And if you're Lawndale, first of all, obviously you want to keep your foot on the pedal, but if you're Hawthorne, this is a key drive. You got to come out and get started right now.
Hugo Perez will be kicking the ball off, and he does so, and it's short to about the 25-yard line and chased out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So the Cougars will start at their own 30. Devon Brown with the Kickoff return of 5 yards. So just underway. And a big game for both teams. And trying to see if Hawthorne can chip away at the lead.
Well, and that's what they've got to do. There are no 25-point plays, so you got to take it one score at a time. But you got to get started at some point. And I think that obviously this is the point, if you're Hawthorne, that you've got to get started.
And the pass is complete. Knocked out of bounds by Cooper is Jacobo.
But I like seeing them go into that play. Quite frankly, Lou, to me, that was where they had, it may not bear it out statistically, but to me, that was where they had their better success throughout the course of the first half, was quite frankly with the passing game, and hopefully they can use the passing game to set up the running game.
And Mapu with the shiny gold shoes to go with his shiny gold helmet. Passes again across the middle to Jacobo, and he takes a lick from Jalen Walker, got out of it. But then there to take care of things was Bellew, and along with him, Terrell Williams. Called his name a number of times tonight.
And
but that's
Jacobo,
a first down catch, but
a little shaken up on the play. Officials timeout, and they'll signal to the Hawthorne staff to come over and attend to him. Obviously, he'll need to leave the field now.
So that was a 7-yard gain and a first down the hard way. But Carlos was the catcher, Mapu the pitcher, and the most successful part of the offense for the Cougars. Let's hope he's okay, as he's on the sideline right now, or on the bench.
And boy, guess what? Our guys are right on top of it. But I think it had something to do with the fact it happened right in front of them.
And Jalen Morgan trying to get some positive yardage, has -5 yards all night. And Ray again pushed back, loses a yard.
Well, that's what I say. The running game has not been kind tonight to the the Hawthorne Cougars. I should say it's been very kind if you're a Lawndale Cardinal fan.
They are really tough up front, the Cardinals. This goes to show you how good this Lawndale team is, because Hawthorne is no slouch this year. With a record of 3-1, 3-6 overall. Mapu with the pass just out of the reach of the intended receiver, Joseph Areola. But Coach Paysinger was telling us all year long, he says, just wait, it'll be getting into league. And they did. They put up a pretty good winning streak there.
They ran off 3 straight in league play before taking on their first defeat last week at Culver City, in a game in which they put up a very good fight against a very talented Culver City team.
So it's 3rd down and 11. Play action. Mapu on the run, throws, and in and out of the hands of Jalen Morgan. Hall was in the neighborhood for Lawndale.
As you see on the replay there.
Right into your, ooh, man, right into his hands, too.
Yep.
4th and 11.
Mentioned last week that this Hawthorne team played the league-leading Culver City Centaurs, played them tough, went down to defeat. The final score in that game was 35-26 in favor of Culver City. But obviously, the Lawndale offense, Hawthorne offense, having a much better night of it than they are tonight.
B.J. Perkinson just going to let the ball roll.
Good coverage there by the Cougar special teams.
Gio Hernandez punted the ball as Jacobo is off the bench now, but now he's still talking to the training staff. Well, both sides of the crowd of Hawthorne and Lawndale's fans haven't woken up from the halftime yet.
Well, if you're the Cougar fans, you're waiting for something to get you going, to get you in the game, and thus far, they haven't yet had it. And as I said, we're still early in second half action, but now Lawndale has the ball. They're already leading 25-0.
So now the referee's going over to the far sideline. Is he talking to the people over on the sideline there, or don't know what's going on really?
Well, yeah, if he's over there, he's definitely talking to somebody because his
Clark's coming out now.
Officiating position is behind the offensive line, is where the referee always sets up at every level of football.
Yeah, we're going. So it'll be out of the shotgun with Zach Cooper to his right. And Cooper has a huge hole. Cooper off to the races, past midfield. Cooper trying to outrun everybody and does. He's going to go all the way for a touchdown. 76 yards on the run. What a huge hole opened by Isaiah Lucas and company. Just a big push. And Zach, a missed tackle right there, Rufus. And he is off to the races.
And he doesn't need much, and look at the speed that Cooper displays there. As you said, 76-yard run. Boy, on their first possession in the second half comes at the 9:24 mark. And boy, that extends the lead to 31-0 with the extra point attempt coming out.
And let's see are they going for two? Murray under center. Hands the ball off to B.J. Perkinson, and he is going to go nowhere after being wrapped up by Jalen Morgan and company. Also there, the solid tie, also number 59, who's not on our roster. But at any rate, a hat trick. And let's go down to Sebastian.
Thanks a lot, guys. Quick injury report for Carlos Jacobo for the Hawthorne Cougars. He's actually on the sideline getting worked out right now by the trainers, running back and forth, doing a few sprints just to see if he can put some weight on that knee. It looks like he injured his knee on that play. We'll see if he's able to go back in. Back to you guys.
So 31-0 is our score. Lawndale scoring on the first play of the drive.
First play of the drive, first possession of the second half for him.
13 seconds it took Zach Cooper to run 76 yards.
It's not world-class time. It's not bad. But then again,
he had all that stuff on him, too.
Yeah.
I mean, not even Usain Bolt. He's got, just his underpants and a tank top on, and that's it. So getting ready to kick the ball, junior Hugo Perez. He'll kick to Esai Rivera. This is popped up. And that's a live ball as well. And is that fallen on by Jalen Walker?
Yes, it is. Well, it's fallen on by Lawndale. I'm not quite sure who it was.
Actually, number 17 fell on it. So they return the favor. Brandon Smith recovered the kickoff.
And you'd have to think that Lawndale, that's something that it was done to them. They decided to return the favor.
Yep. So Lawndale now has it deep inside of Hawthorne territory. at the 33. So the ball is handed off. And the cloud of dust inside the 30-yard line, close to the 25. Zach Cooper again, Rufus, with an 8-yard gain.
And right now, in all fairness to the Hawthorne effort, I think it bears repeating again, Lou, that Hawthorne, without 6 players, ineligible tonight, all guys who are key contributors. We mentioned a couple of them already: Marquez, Holmes, Oliver, Chatters, Garcia, and Orozco. All guys that they could have used tonight.
Chris Murray, trying to get out of bounds, is tackled for a loss after he couldn't find anybody. So got to credit the Hawthorne defense, especially their defensive secondary, as this one goes back to the 30-yard line.
See on the replay again, the defense really making Murray scramble. Gets out of it a couple of times. But as the old saying goes, as Muhammad Ali used to say, you can run but you can't hide. You know?
I'll see you guys later.
Out of the eye, under center is Murray. Looking to pass. Now flushed out of the pocket again and gets hammered down to the ground. Another big loss for the Cardinals as Hawthorne's defense is starting to show their teeth in Jalen Morgan. This is all the way back to the 40-yard line. So a 10-yard loss. So there's one. Jeffrey Ray almost got him. And there's Morgan finally getting a hold of him.
And it's a 4th down coming up now, so be interesting to see how Lawndale plays this. They're showing that they're going to go for it. Good opportunity here for the Cougar defense to see if they can make a stop, boy.
Kayem Cooksey on the near side, but they're going to go for a naked screen. And Zach Cooper was one tackle away from breaking it. But I tell you what, it's not Andrew Kalinowski wearing number 9, but it's on downs.
And if you're for the Hawthorne faithful, that's a spark. That's a spark. That's the beginning of something. Right now, they're playing for a lot of different things, mostly pride, because in my estimation, and of course none of this will be confirmed until Sunday at the CIF office, but I think that Hawthorne certainly has a playoff spot locked up because of their what would now be 3rd place finish in the Ocean League.
So John L. Ray gets maybe a yard.
Of course, that's going to make it a 2nd and 9. They need to get out to the 40-yard line. In fact, where the chain is just across the 40 in order to pick up the 1st down, halfway through the 3rd period here.
And the pistol now throwing down the near sideline and out of bounds, way out of bounds for Morgan. Or check that, that's Jacobo back in the ball game, so that's good. Great news for Hawthorne. So it'll be 3rd down and 9. There's Mapu getting back into the huddle. And Jacobo next to him. He splits out to the near side. Over the middle and intercepted by B.J. Perkinson. Perkinson down around the 20-yard line and cuts back in right into the teeth of the Cougars. But that's right around the 15-yard line. See any flags?
I don't think there are any flags on the play. And a great interception by Perkinson. I don't know if we have it on the replay, but boy, he had a bead on it. Kept his eyes on the ball all the way. There was a tip, and he one-handed that Odell Beckham style.
So that was at the 5:41 mark. So Lawndale has it at the Hawthorne 17-yard line.
Yep, INT by Perkinson.
So a fumble recovery and an interception for Hawthorne. And now a timeout called by Lawndale.
That's their first of the second half.
So Lawndale showing that they are for real. Even without the alleged illegal player.
Well, remember, the young man in question, and as you say, because everything is an allegation, we won't mention him in fairness to him, because again, at this point, as Coach Clark said, there's no shred of evidence that anybody did anything wrong.
Right.
All
exactly.
right. I mean, the facts are out there that yes, the kid did register. Yes, the kid has a parent that lives in Hawthorne. Okay. Where's the crime?
Don't know. There was
right.
There was really no explanation in the paper.
And as we talked about, and you were there with me, boy, you talk about being passionate about what he sees as a totally unfair issue and the way his team was treated. I don't know that I've ever seen a coach in any sport that I've had the luxury of covering here over these last many years. I mean, as just worked up as he was about this whole thing. And he's worked up because, and that was the first thing that you and I said when we talked about it, see a flag on the play, procedure penalty against Lawndale, was the fact that you have so many kids, this being their one senior year, and the greatest year, one of the greatest years in the history of the program, and the fact that for the first time in 50 years, they had a shot at a league title, for all that to evaporate.
Right, the first one in 50 years.
Right, over unsubstantiated claims.
Right.
And he pointed the finger at some folks north of here. Let's just say that.
As Zach Cooper with a
goes into the end zone from about the 22-yard line.
Officially, we'll call it 23.
Okay.
So maybe the reaction too quick to forfeit 4 games, but it's been done. And Lawndale is dealing with the hand that's dealt with him by really putting a thrashing on the Cougars. And there you see Aaron Kiefer with another key block. And that's the 4th touchdown for Zach Cooper tonight. Snap back, ball down, kick is up, and it is good. First one in a while. That's by the freshman, number 31, who Travis said wasn't going to play.
Right.
So the PAT is good, so it's 38-0.
38-0. What's the reality? The reality is that you can mark this down as a W for the Lawndale Cardinals. And they have just, and I was talking to their AD, Dimitri Howard, right before the game, and he put it in its proper perspective. And that is, our playoffs start tonight. And, boy, if this is the beginning of their playoff run, boy, it has gotten off to an excellent start.
Sure has. Yeah, you might as well call this the. Now, what happened there? Cougar caught the ball.
That's
it
not
was
a problem.
Joseph Areola. He didn't call for a fair catch, did he? Nope, there's an official. Well, not sure, don't know.
Well, I guess they're going to say that he did. I don't know if we can see that again, guys.
There's somebody's ball marker on the ground.
Thank you very much.
Okay, there's another short kick. You can tell by the lack of follow through.
I don't see anything that would have constituted a fair catch indication.
Ball is in and out of the hands and incomplete. Over on the far side, Morgan and then Justice Powers. Actually, it was complete. It was caught. Pardon me. That was by Powers, a nice catch.
Right. Oh, boy. Well, actually, that has to be by mutual consent. Although they're winding the clock now, we're not yet in an official mercy rule situation because that doesn't start until the fourth quarter. Unless prior to the fourth quarter, both coaches agree to go into a mercy rule situation, which is a running clock.
Joseph Areola with the catch up to the 45-yard line. So call it a 10-yard catch. .435 left to go. Mapu being chased down by a lot of white jerseys and is thrown into lane number 1 of the Tartan track.
And boy, this track of more recent vintage, not the same one that Curtis Conway, Travis Hanna, and all those guys ran on back in the late 80s, man. That was when, on the track and field side of things, Hawthorne had a state championship program in track and field.
Now Marte Mapu being chased down by the Cardinal defense and now hands the ball off, and a good run, finally a good run by Janal Ray.
And
gets
and
5
you're right,
yards.
finally a good run for Janal, not because of lack of trying by him, but just this Lawndale defense has just keyed on him all night, and it's been very difficult for John L. Ray to get anything going, particularly where he can get his shoulders squared up and heading up the field. They've just had his number all night, but he was able to get a pretty decent run there.
Looking for Jacobo across the middle, and B.J. Perkinson, it was caught by Jacobo. Perkinson going for the interception, but deep inside of Lawndale territory now at about the 35-yard line.
Well, Perkinson had pick 6 written all over it, and that's one of those where if you catch it, great, but if you miss it, guess what? It's going the other way, and we'll see on the replay here. I mean, he read it correctly, but good concentration by Jacobo, the receiver, to make that catch.
And dragging him down was DeJuan Ballard. There you see Jacobo. He's been the main target of Mapu all night long. Looking that way again, throwing down the sideline, and that goes out of bounds. So for Jacobo, that is his 7th reception of the night.
And that's just 2 or 3 balls that they've thrown out of bounds. I mean, that's an adjustment that you've got to make on the field. That's an in-game adjustment if you're Mapu. I mean, balls out of bounds are worthless throws, essentially. And so you got to make some kind of adjustment so that you're giving your receivers an opportunity to make the catch in the field of play.
Mapu had a man open over the middle, but couldn't get the ball thrown away quickly enough. And now it's going to be third down. Gets a gain of, we'll call it 2. But this is the furthest penetration by the Cougars since their very first drive, Rufus, when they recovered the pooch kick to start the game off. And that they got all the way down to the 16-yard line, had a penalty that got them back to the 21 and couldn't convert on fourth down.
And in fact, this is exactly the point where they got the pooch kick at. Nice pick up there because they're going to bring a fourth. Well, no, they're going to move the chain. So it's going to be a first down for the Cougars.
Justice Powers with the catch, an 8-yard catch for the first down. So at the 25-yard line, we'll call it. They saw Jalen Walker. Mapu, as that ball was just heaved after the blitz.
That's what you call just chucking it up there.
Justin Wallace was breathing down Mapu's neck. Look at this. They just brought the house.
Now that's when, if you're going to throw it away, you throw it out of bounds instead of keeping it in the field of play and giving your opponent an opportunity to intercept it.
So it's 2nd and 10 out of the pistol. Janal Ray gets a hole to go through and gets some good running. And real close to a face mask by a Lawndale defender. So 9 yards plus on the play for Ray.
Third and very short, like you say, 9 plus. Man, I mean that's less than half a yard. In fact, it's about 12 inches.
Right, maybe a football length.
Right.
That's the longest gain from scrimmage of the game for Janal Ray. 9 yards plus.
I think if you Mapu, you pick up the first down here.
Which he does, but I'll tell you what.
Wow, he loses the ball, though.
Rudy
in the
Sariano.
process, and it's turned over to Lawndale.
Rudy Sariano almost took the snap. He was in there, number 45 was in there so fast. Maybe we can get that. That's the second fumble recovery by Lawndale. And the ball just came loose. And the ball ended up over to the left. Also in there, Terrell Williams. So the ball's at the 14-yard line for Lawndale. Last 2 times they've had the ball, it only took them 1 play each drive.
And right now, Lawndale Cardinals sending a message to the rest of the Western Division. Boy, as you see Zach Cooper getting loose again, but this time being gang tackled out at the 35-yard line.
I think he's just getting wore out.
And we'll make a note that this drive started at the
14.
At the 14.
So this is a 20-yard gain for Cooper, 21-yard. As he's finally caught by Christian Cooley, who's had a good game tonight, despite the score. Out of the shotgun, Cooper's back there with him. Wide receiver pass is complete. The wide receiver screen to Nate Brown.
Official chooses to ignore the fact that Nate Brown threw the ball away from the official. And delay of game situation, of course, there's no such delay of game call. I won't say there's no such call, but typically that would be considered a personal foul. But These guys are content to move the game along at this point because now what's going to happen is that we have come to the end of 3 quarters, and the score after 3 is 38-0. And so what that means is that running clock 4th quarter. So that's going to make a tall mountain virtually impossible one. But again, the Cougars came in with their own set of challenges. You know, Lawndale, because here's what, and if you're Hawthorne, you have a legitimate argument. You guys can say you had to forfeit 4 games, but you didn't forfeit any players.
Right.
Okay.
And
that have been instrumental in your season run. On the other hand, for Hawthorne, they've got 6 guys, one of whom is one of their top defenders, all of whom were unable to play tonight. But, you know, sports is about life lessons, and hopefully for those 6 young men, there's been a life lesson that they can tap into, that you got to handle your business first before you go out to play.
That's right.
Okay? And right now, they're not getting to play because they didn't handle their business.
And all except Angel Orozco, the junior guard, 5'8", 240 pounds. He's out tonight because of a concussion. So ball is caught off the pass and should be a first down. After it was caught by, looks like Nate Brown on that side, which is now the near side. And right at the 44-yard line, so about 3rd and a yard. So 7 yards on the game. As Chris Murray still in the ball game. So is Zach Cooper, and it's going to be Murray taking it himself and gets it, going over right tackle.
Picks up the first down, they'll move the chains, and the clock will continue to roll.
So a 3-yard gain up to the 47, excuse me. So ball control is the name of the Cardinals game, and they can do it. We've seen them do it past couple of games and then some.
Well, they can play it either way. They can ball control it, or they can quick strike on you.
Nate Brown was the intended receiver. Jalen Morgan defending for the Cougars. So Nate Brown is a senior, 5'6", 150. And Jalen Morgan is a 6'1" senior.
Now, last week, or this week, I should say, in the Western Division, here in terms of Ocean League teams, Lawndale was the only Ocean League team that was ranked in the division, and they were ranked this week number 6. I don't agree with the ranking at all. As I look at some of the other teams, that pass just barely misses connecting with Amaro Bellew.
Just about a foot too long. Rushing onto the field for Hawthorne, David Gonzalez. And he'll take over. For number 59, who's not on our roster. Trips to the right for Chris Murray. He looks down the middle, throws deep down this side, and it is caught by Cooksey inside the 10-yard line, or right at about the 10-yard line.
Kayam Cooksey with the catch, and Lawndale still working through some leftover plays in the playbook. So
well, they're getting out a lot of frustration tonight,
right.
Rufus. So that was from the 47-yard line. So 43 yards. The longest reception or completion for Murray tonight. Had a 40-yarder early. Sends a man in motion. Gives it to Cooper, and he is caught by Janal Ray.
From behind, no less. One of the rare occasions that you'll have to say that Cooper was caught from behind. As we watch the replay here.
One running back gets the other.
So we've
Zach
seen
Cooper.
one quarterback, take out the other, and now we see one running back get the other.
So it's 2nd down and 9 from about the 10-yard line. Murray looking to pass, does across the far side, and B.J. Perkinson can't come up with it. Good pass defense over on the far side as well by Hawthorne. So it'll be 3rd down. That's Marte Mapu on the defense.
Boy, hung his receiver out to dry that time. Fortunately, no contact on Perkinson, but boy, he was really, really vulnerable on that play.
I wonder if Marte's shoes come with batteries. Those are some flashy shoes. 3rd down and 9. And a time.
Is it a timeout, or did they get it in time?
It's a timeout.
Yep, looks like they did.
Lawndale. So their first timeout of the second half. With 6:27 left to go in the 4th quarter. So there they are, the Cardinal, the big guys up front. Is number 77, Steven Almada. 75, Angel Becerra. There's BJ. Along with Kayam Cooksey. And there you see Marte Mapu and Devon Brown. Along with Jalen Morgan. Boy, we've called his name a lot tonight.
Right. And
that's something we have to work out as far as our player of the game and tip of the hat.
Player of the game, tip of the hat. I was just thinking we got to share with the fans what the coverage possibilities are as we head into the first round of the playoffs next weekend.
Out of the shotgun, B.J. Perkinson in motion. Murray looks over to Perkinson. B.J. has it. B.J. smelling the end zone and goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Lawndale.
9-yard touchdown pass to B.J. Perkinson.
3rd reception of the night for B.J. And the 2nd touchdown, the 1st touchdown rushing. Already has a 4-yard touchdown rushing. Out on the flat, just one man to beat as the defender ran by him. That was Denzel Nebhard. And now the freshman coming on to tack on the extra point. Started a little too soon, but it still goes, dribbles over the top. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to be through the uprights. So with 5:38 clock running, the score is now 45-0.
And the other thing, you got to believe that Lawndale is one of the top 8 seeds in the Western Division. There are going to be 16 teams in the playoffs, so that means you're going to have 8 ball games. So 8 teams have got to be at home, and 8 teams have got to go on the road. There's no way, as I look at this lineup of teams here, that anyone can convince themselves that Lawndale's not one of the top 8 teams in the Western Division.
Eight plays, 86 yards. First touchdown pass of the night for Chris Murray, and there's another pooch kick. This one's caught at the 25-yard line. And the scrum right around the 40-yard line. We'll call it the 38 maybe.
38. They're going to put the ball up here. In fact, they'll place it at about, looks like they're going to place it about the 39.
Let's go down to Sebastian.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. With this win approaching for the Lawndale Cardinals, throughout the 10 games, they have remained dominant through everybody that they played. So in these first 10 games, they have made 6 shutouts, just showing how great that offense and that defensive side is for them. Even though 2 of those are in the forfeit column now, it still just goes to show you how many strides this team has taken and how far they've come this year. Back to you.
Mapu throwing deep down the near sideline and too far for his intended receiver, Justice Powers.
But what I like about that, and I spoke about it on the last drive where I pointed out how many balls Mapu was throwing out of bounds. At least that ball stayed in the field of play, which is ultimately what you've got to achieve.
To accentuate Sebastian's point, the last 3 games have been shutouts: 62-0, 61-0, 41-0.
And right now it's 45-0, but Hawthorne has the ball, and boy, they would love nothing more than to get some points on the board.
Well, Jalen Walker and B.J. Perkinson told Janal Ray, no, not right now, after a 2-yard loss. So back to the 37-yard line. You see Justice Powers getting in there, and Keon Scott. Spread offense for Mapu. Going to be the quarterback draw, and it's not going to draw anything except Isaiah Webb, and another loss of about 5 yards this time.
Well, I was going to say it certainly drew a whole bunch of Lawndale Cardinals. They flocked to him.
They
no
sure
pun
did.
intended.
Oh, yes, it was. They flocked to him
well,
like a brand new suet block out on the back porch.
Yep.
Did people know what suet blocks are out here in the West Coast?
Well, I happen to know what it is.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
Okay.
well, you got to watch National Geographic sometimes, you know.
Down in the truck, they have no idea. If they knew it was food, then they would have.
Right.
They're going to go get one right now. It's passed downfield, and B.J. Perkinson almost intercepted that one.
And that was the
Intended for
4th down
Jacobo.
play. Clock runs, so it's going to go over now to Lawndale, and barring a turnover, I think there should be at least one snap here.
As we're under a minute.
But barring a turnover, this will be yet another shutout for this Lawndale Cardinal football team.
Well, they have 5 right now. The Culver City game, 48-41, and then Peninsula, 48-0. Torrance, 49-0, and then the other 3 that we talked about.
Right.
So they're working on their 4th shutout in a row. And they're just going to take a knee on this one with 22 seconds left, and that should be the ball game.
And that is the ball game. And of course, the final once again here at Hellcat Field on senior night. A disappointing senior night for Hawthorne, but for Lawndale, hey, congrats to them for a 45-0 victory that ushers them into the playoffs. And I still believe that this Hawthorne Cougar team will also be in the Western Division playoffs along with Lawndale and obviously Culver City. And if form held tonight, losing her as well. So there's a lot to talk about, but first and foremost, again, our congratulations to this Lawndale Cardinal football team on a very impressive 45-0 victory as they made the short road trip, about 1.5 miles up Inglewood Avenue to play the Hawthorne Cougars, and a Cougar team that under Coach Pazinger, this would have to be considered their most successful season so far. And again, they had one hand tied behind their back. We've mentioned it. It bears repeating that with the 6 players that they were without, a couple of whom are key contributors to their effort, they were simply overmatched on the field tonight against this Lawndale Cardinal team. But
all right. Well, we don't have a score from the Centennial game, Lusinger and Centennial. So we'll try to get that for you. But 45-0, very impressive. And Sebastian getting set to go, and when he's ready, go down there. Let's go down to Sebastian.
Coach Travis, another shutout win for you guys tonight at Hawthorne Field against these Hawthorne Cougars. How does it feel to get this win after everything that's been going on with this week with your team?
Feels great. My kids are the Ocean League champs. In our book, we didn't do anything wrong, so we're really excited about this win. We feel like we're 9-1, and I'd love to prove that as well.
And just talk about Zach Cooper. I know you talked about last week about how much he means to this team, and you said he's the best running back in the league, and he's proven that week after week.
Man, that kid is special. He plays with his heart on his sleeves. Love him, gonna miss him already. Just the way he carries the ball. He's real safe with the ball. He runs really hard. He plays bigger than his size. I hope a lot of colleges are looking at him because he's a special kid, no question. Offensive player of the year, no question, in this Ocean League, no doubt.
Last week when you were talking to your players after the game, I heard a couple of other coaches mention the word dominance about what you guys have been this year. Talk about what you want to see going forward with this team, with everything else coming up. What do you think you guys can do?
Well, I just want to keep the kids mentally focused. It's been a rough week on all of us. It's going to continue to be rough. I'm just trying to make sure that the kids see that I'm strong, and we just want to continue to play well. We don't think we're going to pitch shutouts in the playoffs. That's not our goal, but we definitely wanted to pitch shutouts in this league. And we almost accomplished that completely. I think we had about 6 shutouts on the season, which is the most I've ever had. This team has proven that they're the best team in this area in terms of our division or our league. And I just want them to prove it, and that's what we're going to try to do next week, regardless of what happens.
Coach, good luck to you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Sebastian, and a great night for Zach Cooper. By my count, Rufus, he had 247 yards and 4 touchdowns on 33 carries. Or check that, on 19 carries. He only had 5 carries in the second half.
And it looks like they're lining up another interview, and as we prepare for that one, my hope is that they'll also get the opportunity to talk to Coach Pazinger, because I think he deserves an opportunity to share some words with his fans as they look forward. But as we prepare for that, let's go down to Karen Bright, who's with Zach Cooper.
Zach, you've been playing lights out football all season, but tonight you took it to a different level. What was going on with you?
Well, since we had to forfeit some games, we knew that if we wanted to go to the playoffs, we would have to win this exact game.
And what was the feeling on the team after hearing this decision about the forfeits? How did you guys kind of build yourself back up to come out so strong tonight?
Some people thought we would be down, but if anything, it motivated us. That we had to have playoff aspirations and get this win tonight.
So you guys got this win under your belt after that big decision. What's next?
See who we play in the playoffs.
Congratulations. It was a great game tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. Just adding up some numbers here on the Cardinals and the Cougars. A terrific game for the Cardinals, 45-0, and a lot of the Cougars not wanting to leave, especially number 54, David Gonzalez, down there.
Right.
And why not? He's a senior, and this could be his last game out there.
Exactly. And man, if you could get a word down to one of the cameramen to tell them to make the effort to get an interview with Coach Pasinger, that would be appreciated.
And Rufus, what can you say? You got the playoff implications in front of you, and the standings right here. And it's a bottleneck in the Ocean League, especially after the 4-game.
Right. Well, let's put them in order. Here's the deal. Culver City, we presume no matter what, Culver City is going to be the first place team. Lawndale is going to be the second place team at 3-2, and Hawthorne will be the third place team. The interesting anomaly is that El Segundo probably is going to finish 3-2 and 8-2 on the season, and yet and still they're going to be shut out unless somehow or another, because I looked at it and I don't see a path for El Segundo to get to the playoffs as a fourth place team, unless the Bay League has a team that doesn't make it. But even if they did, well, none of their other teams. So El Segundo is going to be the big loser in this, if you ask me.
Right, absolutely. And because you say that, 3 teams make it out of the Ocean League?
Right.
And in the Pioneer League, you've got Lusinger. If they defeat Centennial, which they should, they're 0-4 in league, they would be 3-2. And then they're going to, then South is in there at 2-2, but they have the tiebreaker, right? Because they defeated South.
Because they whooped South.
Yes,
All right,
sure
they didn't defeat them, they whooped them. Okay.
All right, let's go down to Sebastian.
Coach, tough night for you guys tonight here at Hawthorne Field. Talk about how do you feel your players played over the season so far, and what do you think of this team?
Great team. We started off real slow. Our game plan was to get to the league. We got to the league. We're 3-0 in league. We lost some kids after the third game, and it hurt us in the last 2 games. But 3-2 in league, we're third place, so I can't get upset over that.
It was very clear early in this game that your guys are just as physical and could compete with this Lawndale team, and you talked about it at halftime and talked about them just believing.
Right, and that's it. Continue to believe. Every week we give them some type of motivation or conversation just about life, and it's about competing in life, just not on the football field.
Let's talk about a couple of the seniors that you have going forward and what they meant to this program over the past few years with you coaching them.
Our seniors, they did a hell of a job. They're good leaders. They understand
directly
what we're trying to do with the program, and they led by example. I'm proud of those guys.
Coach, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Sebastian, and gracious in defeats, Coach Donald Pasinger. And just adding up some numbers from the Hawthorne Cougars, the defense of Lawndale just smothering tonight. And we've seen them shut out other teams, but this is just a total smother.
Well, it certainly was, and but it's something they've done to a lot of other people.
Right.
So Hawthorne, in that regard, can take some consolation that, hey, it wasn't just us that took this kind of whooping during the season. But I think, as Coach Pasinger said, he's proud of his guys as well as he should be. They finished in third in league play. I think, and I can't wait to Sunday, I got to tell you, I'll be over at the CIF office because I think this team has earned the playoff spot the way the playoffs are set up. We know that Lawndale is going on, and we think that there's a possibility that Lusinger could be in there as well.
All right. And Hawthorne, what do you think about their chances?
I think Hawthorne has a very good chance. That's what I was saying. They are the third place team in the Ocean League. The other part is that the loser, man, and Egidio. And the reason we're talking about, first of all, our colleague Egidio is over with El Segundo tonight as they're playing. Man, can you imagine going 8-2 and missing the playoffs?
That's right, especially when you started off the season not knowing what type of a team you would have.
Right.
But they're okay. But I guess the question should have been, how about Lusinger in the Pioneer League? What do you think their chances are?
Lusinger, Here's what we're assuming. If form holds, they beat Centennial at Centennial. Centennial, not a very good squad. 1-8 coming into the contest, 0-4 in league play. So Lusinger with a win tonight would be 5-5 overall. That's a real good-looking record at 500. But more importantly, they'd be 3-2
right.
in league play and in third place. Even if they tie it with South, they've already beaten South in head-to-head competition. So Lusinger, I think, is also in no matter what.
Okay. And then West plays Torrance. West is in second at 3-1 in the Pioneer League. Well, it's time for us to decide. We have a tough decision tonight for the player of the game and the tip of the hat, and we'll go over some stats as well right after this.
Hi, I'm Donnell Beverly from the University of Connecticut, home of the 2011 National Championship Yukon Huskies basketball team, and your Lusinger Olympians.
Beverly around the back, follow-away jumper. Good, beautiful shot.
It wasn't too long ago that I was playing basketball right here.
I just want to thank him for having me here. I'm honored to play here.
And the Huskies are the top dog in 2011.
Winning the NCAA championship has always been a goal of mine, but so is getting a great education that will last me a lifetime. You can achieve your goals too. All you have to do is work hard and dream hard, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
Back at Howcat Field, the Hawthorne Cougars take a thumping to Lawndale's Cardinals 45-0. And just before we get to the tip of the hat and the player of the game, let's go over some of the numbers for Hawthorne, just to show you how good the Lawndale defense was tonight. It was Jonelle Ray, 14 carries for 9 net yards. And Marte Mapu, 13 out of 30 for 128 yards and 1 interception. Carlos Jacobo had 10 catches for 77 yards, and every single one of them was tough. That's for sure.
It was.
And 2 lost fumbles and an interception for the Hawthorne Cougars. For the Lawndale Cardinals, Zach Cooper, 19 carries, 247 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's a good night's work in any man's league. And then Chris Murray in passing, 10 out of 16, 133 yards, and 1 touchdown. So 3 touchdowns, actually, let's see, 6 touchdowns scored on the ground and 1 in the air for the Cardinal attack. And like we said, all 11 cylinders were firing tonight. Actually, all 22 cylinders.
They certainly were, offensively and defensively,
right,
as you
exactly.
pointed out, because they did pitch the 45-0 shutout.
They're 6th of the year, 4th in a row?
Yep.
When was the last time you saw that?
They're good.
Oh, yeah, they're very good. And Travis Clark, he really had a fire under their rear ends tonight, that's for sure.
Here's what I hope, is that the team that plays them next week doesn't do what we have to sometimes do. Look at the record and go, oh, okay, well, these guys are 5-5, 3-2. This should be a cakewalk, man.
Yeah, not look at the scores.
Right, and then walk into the field somewhere and get them and just get demolished and get them to say it one more time. I think, and I must admit I agree with Coach Clark, I think they're going to get a home game in the first round, because clearly anybody who's following, the coaches who are following the Western Division know that there are not 8 other teams that are better than this Lawndale team in the Western Division.
And you will find out this coming Sunday.
We'll find out Sunday.
That's right. All right. And now it's time for everybody's favorite.
Yep.
And that's the player of the game and the tip of the hats. And for the player of the game, it's really no-brainer, is it?
It absolutely isn't. I mean, the guy had just an outstanding game. And even Coach Clark said, he's the player of the year in the Ocean League.
Right.
I'll be honest, it took me a little by surprise, because I know Chris Murray is a great player as well. But hey, he coaches both guys, and so he sees it up close much more than anybody else. And if he says that Zach Cooper is the player of the year in the Ocean League, who am I to disagree with him?
Well, he's the player of the game, Zach Cooper, Lisa's baby boy,
right,
with 247 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Well, that's your path to being the player of the year, is you got to be the player of the game.
That's right. That's right. Hey, you know what? He does it on the big shoulders of his offensive line and his fullback, Aaron Kiefer, too.
Right.
So everybody pitching in for Zach's big night. Now?
And congratulations to Zach.
Yeah.
And for the tip of the hat tonight goes to a Hawthorne Cougar. Mention him in your stats, Jacobo, who had a number of catches. I mean, give us the numbers again.
10 catches for 77
10
yards
catches
tonight.
for 77 yards. And the point is, I think, as you may, worked for every catch.
Oof, yeah.
You know, took a hit or two, came out for a minute, gathered himself, and came back in. And really, he was their offensive threat tonight. John L. Ray uncustomarily had an off night, not due to a lack of effort, but due to the defense of them. But Jacobo, they quite frankly didn't have an answer for him. And every time he threw it in his direction and was catchable, he made the play for them. So, to Carlos Jacobo, congratulations. You are the Tip of the Hat award winner tonight. Congratulations, Carlos.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us from Hal-Cap Field. Want to thank Karen Brighton, Sebastian Spencer, and Tom Strickfadden is taking a well-deserved vacation in Ireland. So in tonight for him, that took two directors tonight, Eric Chavez and Francisco Castillo, and the four-time Star Award-winning crew out there making sure that you get the best television coverage of any high school game that's on television right now, at least. Oh, yeah, I'm a little biased. For Rufus, Washington, I'm Lou Stowers from Hal-Cap Field on the campus of Hawthorne High School. The Lawndale Cardinals fly away again, and the final score, 45-0 over the Hawthorne Cougars. Until next time, so long.